Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and today I'm reviewing another Blitzwolf product from their smart home range. And this product was supplied to be my Banggood free of charge for this review video, so thank you Banggood for doing that. And this is the Blitzwolf BW-SS6, and this is a curtain module. It looks very similar to the SS5, which is a smart switch, and to some extent it is actually like a two-gang smart switch. But in terms of the software and how it works in the app, it is designed to control curtains, blinds, or if you have that type of gates or garage doors which have actually a separate up and down or open and a close connection. But mainly I would say this is like a curtain module. So as you would expect, you have connections for up and down buttons, and also you have connections for the up and the down direction. So you would be able to control curtains from this device. And the way the logic and the app is designed, that these two outputs are really designed for curtains and not two general devices. So if you have like if you want to control two lights, so you should be buying an SS5 with a dual output, and you should save the SS6 for freely to operate curtains. The SS6 also comes in this small box, so this is designed to be hidden behind your switch, which is controlling your blinds, and then connected directly it. So if you have just the regular up and down buttons which operate your blinds, now you can have it behind that, and then, well, it's going to make it smart, and of course you can control it from your phone. What I like about these devices, we are going to look at it a little bit later, that the software is really designed for blind operations. So the user interface also looks different, and some of the features allow you to control the blinds movement to, let's say, to a certain percentage. So you can, we are going to see it later, not ideally, but you can make program your curtains, let's say, to go halfway up in the morning, maybe like when you wake up, and then, fully go up after 20 minutes or something like that. So you don't get woken up to the full sunlight. So it has some, really nice features which can go pretty well with the, curtains and blinds. Just like the SS5, the unit comes with this special mount. So if you are planning to install it behind your switch, you can just remove this mount, and you can shave off a few millimeters from the side. But if you want to mount it in a different place, maybe on your stud or in a cabinet, then you can use this. There are some screw mounts, so you can screw it on a wall. And also there are some clips, so it clips on a regular DIN rail as well. So quite a few options when it comes to mounting this device. The unit comes in a very small box, and besides the device, you also get this feedback leaflet, and there is a very short user manual, and it comes in multiple languages. So you only get a few pages for each of the language, but probably the only thing which worth mentioning is the wiring diagram, which I'm going to talk about just in a few seconds. I want to talk about the wiring now, because once it gets connected up, I think it's going to be quite messy. So starting from the left, you have two connections. The first two connections is labeled as N and L. So these are your neutral and live. So this is your main supply voltage to operate this device. And then you have two connections with arrows showing up. And so that's your up direction for the switch and the up direction for the motor. And then you have two connections with an arrow pointing down. So that would be your down switch and your down motor connection. So first of all, you connect the live and the neutral. That's straightforward. And then when you look at it from the left, so the third and the fifth connection are going to be the two switches. So the up switch and the momentary up and the momentary down switch. And these are connected to the live. So from the live, you go into the switch, and from the switch you go to the third and the fifth connection. And the other two connections, so the fourth and the sixth, that goes to your blind motor. And of course, your blind motor would also require a neutral connection as well. But that's how you wire the whole unit up. Now I have everything connected up, and this is why I said it's easier if you look at the wiring diagram before I actually wire it up, because of the close proximity of all these connections, it gets just really messy. But the mains is coming in via this black cable. I have the two outputs, so these would be the up and the down connections of your blind motor, which are now simulated by these two lights. And I also have the two switches. So these are momentary switches, so one would be the up and the other one would be the down direction. So if I click a switch, let's assume that this is down, then the down motor gets turned on. And then there is also a delay built into the system. So after, well, it's 10 seconds at the moment, it automatically turns off, assuming that the blind has gone completely down. And if you click on the up, then the up direction gets energized and your blind is going to go up. And if you click it again, then it stops the motion. And of course you can go the other direction. Or if you decide, oh no, I want to go up, you can click up and then it switches to up direction or the other way around. So when you are using it just with the buttons, it behaves exactly the same as you would expect from a blind motor, with the additional feature that it also has this time limit built in, which is, I think, is usually not in the blind motors. And of course, you don't have to keep the button pressed. You just press it and it's going to go either up and down as long as until it reaches the end position based on the timer, or if you switch the button again. And let's look at the app now. I've already done the pairing, and interestingly enough, this also has a small hole here, just like the SS5, where the green status LED shines through on the SS5. But for some reason, there is no LED in this one. There is a buzzer. So when I powered it up for the first time, it was beeping, and that indicated the pairing mode. So I just had to click on plus, and I just scroll down a little bit, and you can see this group, it says curtain switch, and I selected the middle one which says curtain switch Wi-Fi, and then I just followed the on-screen process, and finally I had this curtain switch layout. So you have 3 buttons. You have the open, you can click on the middle, that stops the motion, and you also have the down. So that's how you can operate the switch. You have the open and the close appears to be fixed, so you can't really change them. And of course, if you operate it from the button, then the screen changes as well. So now you can see that I push the up button, or the up switch, and then it says the device is opening. So in terms of the user interface, it's very simple, but I mean, well, this is what you need for curtains. So let's see how you can customize it. So you have this cogwheel button here where you can do all the settings that are specific to this curtain motor. So first of all, there is an option which says curtain switch 1, and that basically just the active state of the switch. So I have no idea why it's appearing here in the settings. If you switch it, it just means that it turns on, but then it's going to turn off anyway. So I think that's completely useless. The second one is a percentage control, and what you can do here is you can set it to a certain percentage. And now you can see that I was pressing up, so the program, well, basically the software assumes that the curtain is, or your blinds is up, and I set it to 60%, so it was coming down for a certain amount of time. When it reached 60% and it stopped. So you can use this to control how much your blind is up and down in a percentage figure. I'm going to come back to this just a little bit later. You also have a motor steering, and this is just to change the direction. So if you have wired everything up and then you just realize that you actually, when you say up, it's going down and vice versa, you can change the direction here. So you don't have to rewire your switch. So that's nice. And the next one is the quick calibration. And this is the number of seconds it takes for your blind to go fully up from a fully down position and vice versa. So when I said in the beginning that when you click on either up or down, then it's going to run for 10 seconds and then it switches off, that's 10 seconds. So when you are doing a new installation, you just run your blinds all the way up and down, and you measure how long it takes for the blind to go, to travel that distance. And you set that number of seconds here in the quick calibration. And based on this calibration, this device is going to calculate at what percentage or at what position your blind's in. So if I, let's say, if I do close and I don't touch anything, so we wait until the, the curtain goes all the way down. So we just wait for 10 seconds. It looks like that regardless what position the curtain is at, when you click up and down, it's going to run for 10 seconds. And I think that's nice because at least you can make sure that your blind is definitely reaching the outermost position. So now if I go into the settings, you can see that the percentage control is 0. So it's fully closed. And if I click on up and let's say, 1, 2 seconds, or that's probably 3 seconds. And if we go into the settings now, you can see that the percentage control is 20. So it is actually, inside the device, it is calculating how long it is running in either direction. And based on the number of seconds in the calibration, it can tell what position the blind is in. So from this settings option, pretty much the only thing I would use is the quick calibration. Just make sure that it's set to the realistic travel time of your blind. Maybe you can add 1 or 2 seconds just to make sure that, when you are trying to close it fully, it doesn't, close just a smidge above or below the full extent, but it goes for an extra 1 or 2 seconds so it can close fully and open fully. And of course you can use the percentage control if you want to set a certain percentage on your blinds. It's funny that it's in settings and not on the main screen, but well, this is how they designed the app. So that's all about the on-screen features or the app features for this curtain motor. I think we should also pay a quick visit to the actual device settings. So this is the more common device settings that you see on all devices. Here you can rename the device, change the icon, change the location, so what room the device is in. You can check what automations you have created for this one. I was just playing around with this. And as you can see, it supports Alexa and Google Assistant. You can set up offline notification where you would get an extra notification if the device goes offline. In shared device, you can share the device among other Tuya users. If your family has different Tuya accounts, you can share the device to them so they can operate it as well. And you can also group it. And the rest of it is just, basic options like, feedback, add it to the home screen, check the connection and update the firmware. So I think the other interesting features are going to be in automation. So I'm going to click on Smart and I'm going to set up a new automation so we can see what sort of actions is supported by this device. So first of all, I'm going to check the triggers and I click on when the device status changes. I pick my SS6 and as you can see, I can create a trigger when somebody actually clicks on the open, the close or the stop button. And of course that means the actual physical button or the button in the app as well. So if somebody moves your curtains around, you can create an automation to do something else. You can also do a percentage control. So let's say if your blind is below 10%, which means technically it's closed, you can do something. I don't know, maybe you can turn the lights on. So if somebody lowers the curtains, the lights will automatically come on. So that's actually nice. I think there are some really good use cases for that. And the other two options, the motor steering and also the quick calibration, I don't think that you would ever want to use this in an automation. Probably they are appearing here because they are some sort of device settings and they get automatically added to the automation. But I think you can just ignore these two. So either you create an automation based on when the curtain is being operated or based on when the curtain is at a certain position, as in the percentage control. So that's good. And let's see what are different actions available for this device. So I select Run Device SS6 and the options are going to be the same. So you can create an action which is going to open, close or stop your blinds, or you can set your blinds to a certain percentage and actually you can set it to an actual percentage. Like let's say, okay, this is 6 a.m. in the morning. This is when I want to wake up. So I want to open my blinds, but I just want to open them a little bit. So you open them at 20%. Or you can also say, open them with an extra 20% or close them with an extra 20%. So this is like, delta percentages. And actually this is what I've created here. So That's the top automation. So if I click on this one, that's going to open up the blinds by 20%. And probably you could hear that it was running for roughly 2 seconds. I think this is probably already all the way up, and that's why it stopped or something like that. So let me just close it. So that's going to close for 10 seconds. And I'm just going to use the open up by 20%. That was roughly 2 seconds. So this is how I would use the percentage function. So I think overall there are some really good features in this one. This is a really solid curtain motor. It has all the basic features that you would expect. And the fact that you can also control the percentage, I think that opens up some interesting scenarios in the automation side. If you want to purchase one, I'm going to leave Banggood links in the video description. But that will be all for now. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.